Hello, and welcome back to another week at This Week at Skye. Ash, how are you feeling this week?
I'm better. I'm back. Worked from home all week last week. Took a couple of days of sick leave, but much better.
It's good to have you back. And then you were even well enough to go to yoga on Saturday?
Yeah, look, yoga and colds, not the best mix.
It's good that you spread your germs to everyone else at yoga. Apologies to whoever was at the yoga class.
Yeah, whoops.
All right, last week we had a good week. Well, we did. You were sick, either in bed or just working in your home office. So we had a few events. I went to a PBS lunch and we took a few team members.
Yeah, it was your big city week.
Yeah, it was an executive lunch. So
fancy.
Yeah, it was a big deal. Had someone from PBS South Africa come over and talk about PBS and gave us all the razzle dazzle, making us drink the Kool-Aid. So it was a good lunch.
Who else was there in terms of, were there lots of other financial advisors there?
Yeah, there was probably 30 people at the lunch. Mm-hmm. It was a big table and so wide that you could not talk to the people across from you.
Oh, only side by side.
Yeah, it was only side by side, which was, if I was to design a lunch, I would make sure that the tables are thinner. Because it was like you literally had to yell. It was probably 2 meters.
But then if everyone else around you's yelling, it's just louder and oh.
It was it had enough room for 3 seats at the end of the table. It was that's how wide it was.
That is a very wide table.
Yeah. So it was I had to literally yell if I wanted to talk, and so I didn't. So which was good. Caught up with a few people in the industry, and so Lucy from Legacy, who watches some of our clips, which is good. She was there. So and we'll talk about actually doing some financial advisor Olympics.
Ooh.
Actually, yeah, getting all the firms against each other and then donating
That's
money.
That's an elevation from the Nerf gun competition that is been talked about for a year.
But I love the idea of bringing some firms together and competing against each other.
Do you know, I think they do that in accounting.
Okay.
I think they have not Olympics, but they have footy teams and stuff across the firms. It's a one-day thing as opposed to an actual social competition.
So this will be more fun, but we still have to win.
Yeah.
And then every firm will pick their charity of choice, and then so we're competing for that. So anyway,
what a fun idea.
We were literally workshopping these ideas during lunch.
How good.
Yes. And then what else happened? There was a ladies finance club event, which you didn't turn up to because you were sick, and thank goodness you didn't.
I really definitely wanted to make sure I was keeping my germs away for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was good. We had quite a few team members there. I think 5 from Skye representing. I went for a hot second. It was unfortunate that Kate was busy that night, and so I had school, sports pickups and school pickups and stuff. So I made it for about 6.5 minutes. I came in, had a glass of red wine, had one little bit of food, and then had to bail pretty quickly.
Neha filled me in a little bit on what I missed out on. Sounded like there was some networking at the beginning, and then some speeches, that sort of thing, and then a speed networking.
Yeah, it was 1 minute each.
Yeah, which is a fascinating concept for 40 to 50 people in a pretty big room,
actually spectacular office. I don't know the law firm. I can't give them a shout out, but
Landis and Rogers.
Incredible and expensive is the word I would use. And I looked at it, and me and Owen walked in together. Owen from the Rask podcast group, and we're like, they must be paying a bomb for this office space. So beautiful place it was. And then, that day before the event, I did some podcasts with Owen. So we did 2 podcast recordings and just hung out and had lunch and caught up, which was good. All right, so we've got some articles to talk about. Now, there was a spicy one. FAAA are responding to a consultation paper that the government are asking for. So reform on non-compete clauses and other restraints on workers. The reason this was spicy is FAAA came out with an opinion that some FAAA members, myself included, actually disagreed with. So there were some things that they wanted to make sure was being protected. So the first thing, which I agree with, was making sure that there's client solicitation rules is protected. So Ash, if you go and work for another firm, you're not just calling up all our clients because all that information, our clients' data is protected. We've got a privacy obligation to protect our clients, which includes someone going and calling them up. But the one topic that was spicy was FAAA were talking about protecting employers' investment in professional year candidates, and talking about I may be butchering it, but 2 years, saying that there is a non-compete for 2 years within 2 years of finishing your professional year. Now, Ashley, you're in that in that cohort. How would you feel if we had that as a part of your contract?
Not great. The longest I've actually spent at one company is 2 years and 4 months. So
okay, so we've got
that would keep me locked down for a real long time.
We've got another 8 months with you. So,
yeah, I'm bound to go at any point. But yeah, previous places I've worked, I've had my study paid for. That's a very common thing in accounting. A lot of people will have the accounting firm pay for their chartered accountants. And the very common thing there is that they'll have a 1 year clawback built in. So any studies that you completed within the last 12 months, if you leave, you have to pay them back for that. That's the sort of framework that I come into this with, what I sort of see as a reasonable sort of mechanism to keep people. Look, that being said, I think putting the financial side of things on a professional year might be a little bit trickier. But I think if I signed a contract that said if you left, you'd have to pay 5, 10, 15, whatever felt appropriate back if you left within X period of time of finishing your professional year, that would feel reasonable. But to completely stop you from going and working at somewhere else in the industry feels a bit absurd.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point, is a non-compete. You can't go and work somewhere else within 2 years of finishing your professional year. Basically, you're in jail. You're in servitude back to the firm. That's why I disagreed with it. And I understand the FAAA's kind of concern, where they're, a lot of their members, a good portion of them are business owners, and there is a bit of noise out there about how difficult it is to bring on a professional year candidate. You train them and then they leave. That's a pretty common trope out there. My view is, as someone who has had 7 team members go through the professional year, is at the end of the day, it's our job to retain our team. And if we make that investment and someone leaves, that's on us. And that's because we're either over-promising, under-delivering, or just not, fulfilling what we say we're going to do. And so I fundamentally disagree. I think this issue with, attracting professional year candidates is, at the end of the day, it's a business risk, just like hiring anyone, just like hiring an experienced advisor.
Exactly. There's still costs of anyone coming into a business, all of that ramp-up period of learning the new company's structure and all these sorts of things. There's no clawbacks for that sort of situation, the non-compete in that regard. So, yeah, to put it on the PY, I don't know that it would necessarily fix the problem either of the professional year candidates, whatever those struggles are.
Yeah, and full disclosure, we've had professional year candidates do some of their professional year somewhere else and then come to us. We've had multiples, or at least 2. I can't think of if we've had others, but at least 2 team members join us. And at the end of the day, like, if they were unable to move, then they're unable to move. The other thing that, I guess the FAAA, if they are pushing this point really hard, they've got to consider that going through your professional year, you can be stuck in Q1 and Q2 for a long time. It's up to the licensee to sign you off. And so that's another thing. It's basically indefinite period of servitude once you start your PY, if this was to be part of it. So I'm a little bit surprised, because the people at FAAA are incredibly thoughtful, well-reasoned. They do talk to their members a lot. My initial reaction was listening to the loud minority of people who are maybe, their firms are either not growing or they're struggling to retain people and using, this, investment in their professional year candidates as to why they can't attract people. I guess, I don't know, maybe that's a bit too harsh, but that's kind of my point of view.
Well, it is a little bit confusing, because there are, plenty of financial planning students coming out there looking for jobs. I was chatting to a few of them at our Kaplan graduation a week or so back. So it's not like there's a limitation on the number of people wanting to join the industry.
If you talk to Alistair from Striver, he talks about, they did a Brimstone event with 250 students and very few people are getting roles. And so there's no limit on candidates. There's actually a limit on firms bringing people through the professional year. And that's why my view is it's not actually the lack of retention or the fear of retaining people is why we're not getting more professional years. It's just the ability and the I guess instability, knowing that, okay, our firm will have a role as an advisor long term is difficult. And this misconception between what it actually means to be an advisor and just having a lot of clarity with the business and the team member who's doing their professional year, this is what's required of you. If you need to go and search for new clients, once you become an advisor and you're out there, networking and bringing on clients to the firm, well, that needs to be very clear up front and that needs to be taught as a part of the professional year. If the requirement is just, do the work, look after our clients and we'll give you a book of, 100 clients or whatever the firm's structure is, and you're just doing reviews, well, great. That as long as it's clear and everyone understands what they're doing, then it makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's the big problem with the professional year is that lack of clarity in a lot of cases.
All right, next article is, and this is something I love looking at every quarter, APRA releases statistics on the performance of life insurance industry. Now, why does this matter, Ashley? It matters because, and this is one thing I always say, you want to be a customer of an unprofitable business as long as they don't go out of business.
Yeah.
But other than that, you want to make sure if it's a long-term commitment that the businesses that you're working with are profitable. And so it's super important that our insurance companies, in Australia are profitable. And when we talk about life insurance, one thing about life insurance is they're guaranteed contracts until the expiry of that contract, which can be 40 years away, depending on when you're taking out the cover. So we've got statistics on the financial position of the market. Now, as an accountant, you can read profit and loss reports better than most of us. Sorry, ex-accountant.
Ex-accountant, yeah.
So talk to me about the performance of life insurance companies.
Looking at the profit and loss for all of the life insurance companies for the June 2025 quarter has $720 million profit, which...
Before tax,
which feels huge.
Yeah, it's good. We've been, but what's the after tax amount?
After tax is very important. That comes down to 360. So for this quarter, the insurers have paid basically half of their profit in tax. But it looks like there was a bit of an adjustment because the previous quarter to that was much, much smaller. Yeah,
I mean, like even you look at some, quarter December 24, their profit is 182, but they pay 197 in tax. So, it's always important to look at what's the after-tax income. That's the number I care about. Because at the end of the day, we want to make sure insurance companies are profitable. Now, if they make no profit and our premiums are stable, great. But they're not going to make no profit and keep our premiums the same because they've got to make money at the end of the day. So the profit in 2025 financial year, they made $1.1 billion worth of profit. And that sounds great. But when you compare that against their total turnover, we are talking about, I think it's like $18 billion worth of total revenue. And it's very volatile. Like the other thing when it comes to profit and losses for insurance companies, you got the total income that comes from premiums, but the other portion of their income is actually investment returns, and that can form part of their total income. And then you've got claims. There are some funky things when it comes to like reinsurers, so they pay a portion of their premiums to a reinsurer to cover the cost. Sense. And then, but claims gets funded by their reinsurers as well. So there's money going in and out based on reinsurers' money. But again, it's more important that, if any advisors are watching and they deal with insurance, it's really important to look at the profit and loss of insurance companies. Now, APRA used to break it down per insurer, which was great from an advisor's point of view because I could see, okay, these insurers are really unprofitable. Do we consider steering our clients away from them?
When did they stop doing that?
I think 2023, I'm going to say. They actually paused their reporting for a little bit of time until they cleaned it up, and then they've only just brought it back in. I think it was around 2023 because I used to always look at every quarter, go in, work out who's the unprofitable businesses and who's not. And the reason why it's important is because insurance companies, they can increase their premiums on all policyholders. And so if there was a company that was really unprofitable, okay, we know that its premium is going to be expected, or the premium increase will come in the next year or two, unless they fix their claims, which is something that's their claims rate is not really a mechanism they can adjust today because they're policies that they set up 10 years ago. And
were you able to utilise that with integrity?
Well, integrity, it's a good question. So some insurance companies, insurance companies that we recommended like NEOS or PPS, who we just touched on, their actual insurance provider is Noble Oak. Mm-hmm. So like PPS or NEOS, we'll all be bunched in Noble Oak. And integrity, you're pushing my memory, but it was another life insurance. They didn't actually have their own insurance license. Gotcha. And so, just broadly speaking, it's good to have a healthy insurance market. Now, to give you some context in terms of what this looks like against like health insurance. So life insurance premiums for the quarter was just under $6 billion. Health insurance premiums are $8 billion per quarter. And let me just find out their performance because they report all these numbers differently. Their profit on $8 billion after tax was $500 million for the quarter, and so versus 360. So as a percentage, it's roughly similar. And then the general insurance market. So
home contents insurance, pet insurance. Yeah, basically any other insurance that isn't your life income TPD, the health insurance. Yeah, everything else gets bunched.
Everything else is
travel
put in.
Insurance,
and that's $19.6 billion per quarter. So it's a big market.
A big market.
Yeah. And their profit was $2.3 billion after tax. Now, can you do the mental math and tell me on a percentage basis, are they similar?
I
can't either.
Next
That's what I'm
week,
asking
maybe.
You.
This week, still a bit brain foggy.
Okay. Let me work it out.
But I think that's an interesting consideration just in the fact that the general insurance market is so big. People are much more comfortable insuring their home and contents, travel, pet. But what about your income? Everyone has an income. This is a very important thing to be looking at and making sure that you're covering. Yeah. So from that side of things is an interesting consideration.
Now, I've quickly done the math right on the fly, so I'm not actually convinced.
Could be wrong.
I did the math well. But 360 million off 6 billion is around 6%.
Sure.
Does that sound right? 300
fair.
300 of 6 billion is 5%, yeah? And then the general insurance market is about 13%.
Yeah, wow.
And so general insurers are, more than twice the margins of life insurance providers, which is interesting. Also, again, like I'm full geeking out here in terms of like the financials of it all. Life insurance providers, they have to guarantee these policies. General insurance market, they don't need to guarantee it. So and that's where it can sometimes be more profitable for them, because if you go and crash your car 5 times this year, your car insurer may say, actually, Ash,
we're done.
You just got to chill out. We're not insuring you. You're too high risk. And so they can just cancel it. But the life insurance market, if you go on income protection and claim, you're unlikely to claim 5 times a year, but you claim for the whole year and then you're back paying premiums, they can't say, Ash, we're not going to cover you next year. Yeah. So they've got to wear those costs, which, again, for anyone who's gone through insurance or, going through that process, that's why it's so much more difficult to get the cover, because they've got to really make sure they're pricing it properly, building in those risks to the policies, because they've only got 6% margin to play with.
Yeah, much smaller margin. So I'm working with a client this week who has just gone through his application process. The insurer have finished doing their assessment of it, and through the application process, he let them know that he's recently, or not recently actually, in the past has experienced some tennis elbow symptoms. Hasn't had anything since November 2023. We didn't know about this originally through the pre-assessment process, and so it wasn't something I was able to flag with him or find more information on. So we've sent off an email to him saying, this is what the insurers have come back because of that tennis elbow. They're looking to include a exclusion for your elbow on income protection TPD. He does work in a more manual role, so this is something that
could potentially lead to a claim.
But considering we're in September and they've said that there's a 2-year review mark on this exclusion, I've gone back to them and said,
come on.
What are we doing?
Come
really?
on, team.
It's like a month and a half.
Yeah.
Can we do anything? I had a win, called them up, and they are going to send back the terms again without the exclusion on the elbow.
And sometimes, look, to be fair, sometimes the underwriters are just like, their rules are their rules, and they're just following what they're doing. They're following the process.
If you're in process mode, you're in process mode. I get it. So,
sometimes it's just a matter of just someone else going, hey, let's just turn our brain on a little bit. Just take a back step. We, by the time the policy's enforced and premiums are paid and all these things, we're going to be another week or two.
I'm not calling you in 2 weeks' time saying let's get rid of it. So
yes, good win.
Nice and easy. How about you?
For me, as we know, I don't deal with heaps of client stuff. We had a new team member start last week, which was good, working on these pre-assessments and making sure we get the right disclosures. But I do sometimes get involved in claims. So we had a client who was starting a claims process, and the insurer just had a few questions about family history because the claim is about something that there is a family history of, and it wasn't disclosed in the application. So we kind of have to gently have the conversation with the client about, hey, just want to check, was this, the insurer's asking more questions about disclosures. And so always rings alarm bells in my mind to be like, make sure there wasn't a non-disclosure. And so just, asking questions about, is this, these answers true and correct at the time that you answered them? And if you did know something after the fact, that's fine. That's totally fine. No issues whatsoever. But we just want to make sure that that is the case, that it was known after the fact. So actually took a little while for the client to get back. Life's busy. We understand that. And she was just like, I can confirm that, I didn't know about this. And, there was some things that happened after the policy was in place that then led to more investigations, and then understanding about family history. So that was good that we heard back, and now it's our job to then go and advocate for the client with the insurer and just kind of paint a picture of going, hey, there's no non-disclosure, there's no concerns here. Which at the end of the day, the insurers are well in their right to ask the question, hey, was this known? Was there any concerns here? And it's our job just to articulate that no issues here, I promise. Or I promise, but here's also some proof as to the timeline.
The timing.
So sometimes it's just a matter of having a conversation with the claims assessor. Here's the timeline, and they take it from there.
Skye team's ready, forks in hand. Ashes bacon takes the stand.
All right, welcome to another Ashes Baking Corner. So, Neha, thank you for joining us. Now, I jokingly had a party hat here because I don't know why we had it, but I said, do you want to wear a party hat? And you said, why not?
Why
so
not?
I love the energy, party hat energy. Now today, Ashley, hold on, get this out of the way. What have we got?
We have choc chip biscuits. Wow. I don't know if that probably didn't come through. Poddy's excitement is next level. It gets better, Pete. They're burnt butter as well, brown butter.
Okay, I will be a gentleman and let you pick first, and then I get to pick because Ash has had some. That's the worst one.
Just because you can't see the choc chips doesn't mean it's not still packed.
Yeah, but oh my goodness, that's a rookie error. I get the best one. All right, you know the drill.
Yep.
You've been here before. Give us an honest rating. Ooh, we do like a hard cookie.
I like the taste. So without meaning to sound like I'm on MasterChef,
Yeah.
I do prefer chewy cookies.
Me too.
But I like the taste. I love the buttery feel. The chocolate chips, nice. I'll give it a 7.
So
Philly, you're going to throw it on your laptop again. Is it that level of crunchy?
No, it's not that level of crunchy. But tell me, what are they?
They're just choc chip bickies, but they're with brown butter. So
Brown butter.
Put the butter on the stove and you melt it, and then you keep it on there for a little bit longer until it changes colour.
Yeah, I can taste that in the butter actually, which I like.
You said 7.
I said 7, only because it's not chewy. Otherwise, it would have been a 9.
It tastes great. Let me start there.
Yeah.
Let me give you a compliment sandwich. I question the teeth breaking scale. It's getting up higher than I would like. I'm with you, Nia. It's up higher in the teeth broken scale. Not too bad. How does one actually make soft cookies?
There's a few different factors.
And why don't you like them?
Okay, I'll be honest. This is the first time I'm making this recipe, and I was having some confusions. I've brought in the second batch. The first batch was even more problematic. I think for me, when I make these again, for a lot of biscuits, you want to put them in the fridge overnight because it has some...
Like the actual cooked biscuits?
No. The dough.
Oh, yeah. Kate does that.
I balled them all first. I think I'm going to flatten the balls a little bit more next time so then they can be more...
You balled them and then refrigerated
And then
them.
refrigerated them and then put them all on tray in their ball form. I think I want to make sure they're less ball form next time so that they
Kate
can
rolls it up
hopefully
and
be a bit-
then puts it in Glad wrap so it's all together.
There's three options. Balling, little ones, log, which is what Kate's done, or a larger slab.
And then, sorry, I was going to give you a compliment sandwich. I do enjoy the double choc, so white chocolate and milk chocolate. Big fan. I'll give you a 6. Now, it's unfair on you that my wife makes choc chip cookies every single week for the girls. Now, I'm not actually allowed to have much because she portions it out perfectly for the girls today. But yes, Kate does better choc chips than you. And also I do feel bad because I intentionally give you hard marking. So I apologise for giving you rough marks, but it's a 6 for me.
Fair enough. I like it though. I'm going to have more.
Oh, are you kidding me? I'm having more. I'm having as many as I can. But I'd love it to be softer. You'd get higher marks if it was softer.
Fair enough. I couldn't work it out this time.
Keep going. You're doing great.
Thanks.
Hey, now, thank you. And appreciate the party hat attitude. Love it. Keep it up.
Might keep it on all day.
Yeah, let's go.
Maybe not. But
What do you got coming up this week?
All right, are you coming to this MDRT lunch?
Yeah.
Yes. So we've got 3 of us going to the MDRT lunch. Fortunately for you and Neha, there's an amazing panel session.
So MDRT are doing a lunch and learn
Yes.
in collaboration with Ascender, one of the insurers. They have a panel of speakers, and that's how it came up on my radar as I saw you post about it on LinkedIn.
Yes, so I'm on the panel, and Paul Milbourne, a friend of mine who will be hosting the panel, asked me and then Yanish to jump on the panel, just answer questions. One of the things that I've always appreciated when I go to advisor events is hearing from other advisors. What are they doing?
Definitely.
So for you and Neha, you unfortunately have to listen to me talk about Skye.
Again.
Yeah, it's going to be a good session. And Marshall Ross is talking. He's always a great presenter.
He's always good, yeah.
So that's what's coming up. And we also have some Skye Simplifies, talking about, sums insured, how to think about the level of cover you get. Got an interview with Amy discussing interns and associates. There are some spicy things on there that Amy swears I threw her under the bus. I articulate it as I asked thoughtful questions. And so you can watch and discern.
When I was speaking to her after the recording, she did say it felt like you were fishing to try and get her to say something controversial.
No, I was asking questions. That's and I stand by it.
So everyone can watch and let us know what you think.
You can judge. You can judge us. The other videos we got is some insurance myths and some more Skye moments on Friday. So that's what's coming up next week. thank you, Ashley. This has been a great episode. Appreciate you being in the office. And it's sunny in Melbourne, so I'm excited for this week.
How good. Thanks, Bill.